Welcome back. I just wanted to thank everybody who has subscribed to my channel, watched my videos, and sent me comments and messages over this time. It really does mean a lot. Thank you very much. After being in a medically induced coma for 7 days, the doctors finally decided to wake me up. They then took my breathing tube out. I have no memory of any of this happening to me. According to Shannon, my mom, and my sister, I was very delirious for the first few days and I didn't say much. I was very suspicious of the nurses during this time, and I would get really paranoid later in the day and especially in the evening. I was coming off some pretty heavy sedation drugs, Propofol and fentanyl. It took my body a few days to detox and get this out of my system. I was going in and out of consciousness during this time. I recall having a very weak cough, and I had to do a swallow test to make sure that I was able to swallow again properly. Once my mind came back around, I do remember doing some physio at the side of the bed. I was standing at the side of the bed, doing some slight marching exercises, and was able to take a few steps and was sitting in a chair. The next day, I will never forget. My mom and my sister were with me, and the nurse had noticed a change on my heart monitor. She then asked for an EKG and then blood work. They were so alarmed with something that they actually brought in the top cardiologist from Toronto General to come see me so they could look at my heart. Later on that afternoon, the top cardiologist showed up with 5 or 6 of her fellows. Based on my blood work and my heart monitor, they were concerned that I might have a heart attack. They used a portable ultrasound device and were doing a scan on my heart in my bed, and they were looking for things that they were concerned about. They then started asking me questions about family history of health, my diet, and if I was a smoker. And I was a smoker, and I quit 9 years ago. My mind was racing with everything that was going on. They had decided they were going to bring me to Toronto General later that afternoon to the cath lab so they could run a proper test on my heart at that time. Everybody left my room. It was just me, my mom, and my sister there. I was left with my thoughts. My mind was racing. I kept thinking that I had done damage to my heart for the years that I had smoked. I had forgotten everything that had happened to me previous in the hospital to this. I was just concerned now about my heart. I could not stop thinking about it. Minutes went by, which seemed like hours. And I noticed that my breathing started to labor and I started to really have trouble catching my breath. My mom was very good during this time, and she was holding my hand and just trying to do yoga breathing with me and making me look in her eyes and just staying calm. It helped slightly, but it just started to get worse and worse. And I was hooked up to a monitor that was beside my bed so you could see the heart rate, and my heart rate was climbing. And I had a hard time not looking at that screen. A couple minutes more went by, and it got to the point where we decided to page the top doctor at the ICU. He came in to see me and asked me what was wrong. I told him I'm not sure. I said, I think I'm having a panic attack. I've never had a panic attack before, and I don't know what that feels like, but this is the only thing I could think of. I was racing to try to catch my breath, and I was sweating profusely. He put like kind of a makeshift oxygen mask on me and said that this should help, and then left the room. A few more minutes went by, which again seemed like hours, and it wasn't helping. We then called the doctor to come back in a few minutes later. He was very alarmed with my heart rate and what was going on. We then heard a code or some page go over the PA system. Within seconds, there was about 15 people in our room. There was a panic. They were trying to put something into my arm. I remember looking at my mom during this time, trying to catch my breath, and she was breathing with me, and I just kept trying to breathe as best as I could, and everything just started to go fuzzy, and then I crashed and everything went black.